Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. In this session, I wish to speak to you about a flavor of secularism that we see in India. I am not about to mock secularism or anything. I am just going to tell you about the Indian secularism and its special flavor. The word secular in any parlance literally makes us feel that state is separate and religion is separate. Right? State is separated from religion. Religion has nothing to do with the affairs of the state. That was the normal understanding of secularism. Because when this term arrived, secularism arrived, it came from the West when at that time the Catholic Church had a vice-like grip on the affairs of the state. Lately, then there was the Protestant Reformation, Catholic Counter-Reformation, then there was Enlightenment, and Enlightenment values manifested in the form of French Revolution, which was highly, you can say, anti-religious at one point of time, anti-Christianity. So that is when the religion is separate, state is separate affair happened. But in the case of India, if you can say, religion, the majority religion, Hinduism, was more or just less like a culture in many ways. Lately, it turned or it adopted itself in the form of a organized religion. But right now, if you can see, like many other religion, Hinduism is also kind of an organized religion. But when we say the ethos of secularism, secularism is many a times interpreted or in some way that if you actually project religion and you are actually terming yourself more of a religious person, that is something like a public appeal. See, for example, I will tell you certain examples. Very recently, I just visited the Vidhan Sabha of Karnataka, and a statement that was engraved there literally got my attention. It is just like this: government's work is God's work, right? Why would you bring God here? What is the significance of God in a government office? What if someone who is by nature an atheistic person who is feeling that okay, what should be worship or something like that? I don't believe in God. So if they are saying that this is God's work, if I believe that God does not exist, will my work be done? Right? That's a kind of a question. So it was very curious when I saw this. Like government's work is God's work. You have actually brought in God in a public office. Fair enough, but I again refreshed my memory and I pulled myself back into some areas where I was there quite a few years ago. For example, like in Nagaland, I remember in the DC's office, right? In the DC's office, there were even biblical wordings engraved in the notice board, and I still remember a newspaper clipping that shows. That actually carries the words of a former chief minister there, S.C. Jamir, who is telling like it was God's vision or Christ's will that Nagaland became like a Christian state where there were a lot of other religious states like that of, for example, Myanmar is Buddhist, Assam there is predominantly Hindu, and there are like Bangladesh there is Muslim, but in between all of this, Nagaland is a kind of a Christian state. It is because of the God's will. So I don't know if such a statement would have been made by any mainstream politicians just for the sake, like say Yogi Adityanath. I think the entire liberal gang would have exploded here, but it did not happen because it's okay, fine, a kind of a tribal state in the northeastern area, very less significance, but that to a state which had a lot of other sensitivities, so they may have actually brushed this aside. But now let's see what happened very recently, where there was the new government swearing in ceremony. When I looked into that, what I felt is like it is more like a prayer meeting and a religious ceremony where a pastor is coming, having a prayer. Like the problem is like somebody praying is fine, but you are bringing the element of religious Christianity into it. And one thing that was I felt funny was that the pastor himself was praying like, "Oh God, oh Lord Jesus, please help that the secularism be prevailed in this country." My God.
Lord,
I don't know what to say.
practice
Myself, I'm a
and
Christian.
uphold, Lord Jesus,
You have to see that religion should not be made into the realm of politics. And I will tell you the danger of why religion being brought into that realm of politics is bad. See, despite of its differences, whether it is a very highly organized Semitic religion or it is a religion in the Eastern realm where it is more mixed with the culture, all the religious bodies ultimately are undemocratic. They have a top-to-down approach and they are many times away from the realities that are harrowing the public, because they believe or they think in such a way that life after death or even it's a punarjanma or moksha or whatever be is more important. So if you bring too much religion is that into that is like that is a way of masking the real issues with the public. And the people who claim themselves to be religious very well know this scenario well, and ultimately the people themselves would be the one that is exploited. Right. I mean, look at the case. Like, I have many friends, many students in Nagaland. Many of them may become angry seeing this video, but it's a fact, right? Like 95% of Baptist Christianity, like what exactly Christianity has brought education, add the basic education, but the same motto of this Christianity, like Nagaland for Christ, being exposed by NSCN and other militant organizations, has it brought any good in the life of a normal Naga at that time? No. If you look into the state of infrastructural development or the state of corruption and other things, many of the Nagas had to actually move out of the state, especially in areas like mainland. In many times they had to face the issue of racism, they have to face a kind of a hostile climate. Why? Because of that. Because the religion and religious aspect of elements have been very well utilized by the political class as well as the militia at one point of time. So even not only it is not only limited to that of Nagaland. You can see, for example, Mizoram. Mizoram is a better governed state, I would say. But very recently we had a governor like Komanan Rajashekar, and I still remember the swearing in ceremony of him. He was handling a Bible on one hand. So like you can see that element of religion coming here and there again. And you look into wherever these missionaries had come from, like wherever these Baptist missionaries had come from, those states, whether it's say Britain or US, they have all left that element of religion from their political arena. Yes, they may actually, the President of United States may put the hand on the Bible and do the swearing in, but they are praying for with the Lord and bringing in secularism and all those things. You know, that approach is actually, I would say it should be nipped from the bud. Because if it is not nipped from the bud, what will happen is like people can be easily fooled off. And I would say that anybody who is actually bringing in organized religion or the clergy, whether it is a pastor, bishop, imam or babas, bringing them into politics will not do good. Okay. Because see, if you can bring in say Bhagavad Gita or say or Bible or anything and bring in the philosophical element of it, good stories, and make it a kind of a philosophical statement, that is a good thing. But the problem is like if you are bringing in religion directly into it, religion can be used as a good mask for all kinds of anti-national or like criminal activities. We have a very good example of Nityananda. I have done a video just before that where he took refuge in Hinduism and had made an island there. And see this, and I was very, very worried that many people and or applying saying Guruji, where I can get a passport and all those kind of things. This is a very, very dangerous trend, right? See, there has been many religious countries. I'll say an example, like Israel, for example. See this, Israel, that is a kind of a Jewish state, but they didn't support this kind of Orthodox Judaism. They consider the Jewish culture more, but adopted scientific temple. Fine. And I'll tell you an example of another state. Say Bhutan. Bhutan is a Buddhist nation. That's a fine thing. They came up with the principle of the gross national happiness. Or gross national happiness index was something new to the UN unless Bhutan said okay, that's a nice thing. But they are not propagating the Buddhist clergy like the way it happened in say Myanmar or the way it happened in Sri Lanka. I will tell you an example of Sri Lanka. The first president of Sri Lanka, Solomon Bandaranaike, was shot dead by a Buddhist monk. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. He was shot dead by a Buddhist monk, a religion that has professed non-violence for such a way. But yeah, but these kind of scenarios have happened. Okay, and you don't have to go away by looking into what happened in Afghanistan. All right, the Deobandis that are there in India actually proved as a food and fodder for the Taliban. Even when the Taliban leaders came to Pakistan, the Deobandis their counterparts of Deobandis in Pakistan actually met Taliban. So religion mixing with politics is never a good deal, and whenever we understand that a person is using religion as a tool, I'm not talking about religious philosophies, but the orthodox religion, and putting religious clergies and all those people as a tool is a sure shot thing for disaster. Because no matter whatever, if you may despise me or you may criticize me, but history has proved us a great lesson. And don't overwhelm that, or don't override that, don't overlook history just like that. That's all I wanted to tell you. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day. Take care.